Hey everyone, I'm Carol, and today we're talking about something really interesting. X developers. Twitter's developer platform just announced a major change to their API model. They are shifting towards a pay-per-use system, and it could completely reshape how developers and social media tools interact with X. If you manage social accounts, run automations, or build tools that rely on X's API, this directly affects you. So in this video, we will break down what this update actually means, why it's happening, and what can you do with it. So let's dive in. Right, so let's talk about what happened and give some context. X's relationship with developers has been a bit complicated since the platform's major transition. They introduced a new paid API model in 2023, and honestly, it wasn't popular at all. Prices went way up, access got restricted, and a ton of smaller apps like analytic tools, scheduling platforms, bots, etc. basically disappeared overnight. Now, X Developers has announced a new pay-per-use model that is currently in closed beta. The idea is that instead of paying a flat monthly fee for access, developers will pay only for the specific API calls they make. So if your app only posts occasionally or reads limited data, you will pay less. If you are making heavy, constant calls, sure, you will still pay more, but at least it's proportional to your usage. It's a big shift from the previous one-size-fits-all price model. Now, to really understand why this is such a big deal, let's look at how the old pricing worked. Under the previous system, there were basically 3 tiers. The first one was a free tier, extremely limited, barely useful for any real project. Then there is a basic tier at $200 per month that gave you just enough access for small testing or simple automations. And finally, there is the pro tier at $5,000 per month. Yep, $5,000 every single month. For big enterprises, that might be possible, but for small or mid-sized startups, independent developers, or even marketing agencies trying to build lightweight integrations, it was completely out of reach. So what happened? Developers stopped building for X. Many tools either shut down, pivoted to other platforms, or just couldn't justify the cost. That's why this new pay-per-use approach feels like such a breath of fresh air. It finally brings flexibility back to the table. You only pay for what you use, instead of being locked into massive monthly subscriptions that make no sense for most teams. So why is this important, especially if you are not a hardcore developer? Because almost every social media scheduling or analytics tool you use relies on APIs like this. Tools like Buffer, Hotsuite, or even smaller SaaS products depend on X API to schedule posts, fetch analytics, or reply to DMs. When the old pricing model launched, many of those tools had to either raise prices or cut features. This new system could make it viable again for smaller startups or solo developers to build on top of X. For agencies and creators, it could mean more third-party tools returning to the market, better automation options, and potentially lower cost in your workflow because your tools won't be paying insane API fees anymore. Now, of course, there is a catch. It is still beta, and X hasn't shared full pricing details yet. They have said there will be a calculator to estimate costs, but we won't have the actual numbers. So right now it's more about watching the direction, not celebrating just yet. So let's talk about what can you actually do with this new information. First of all, audit your dependencies. If your product or workflow relies on X, even indirectly, figure out exactly how much API activity you have, how many posts, how many reads, how many messages. That's the data you will need to estimate future costs under a pay-per-use model. Second, optimize your API calls. If the new system truly charges per request, efficiency will matter. Batch requests, store data locally whenever you can, and avoid unnecessary calls. This could literally save you money every single day. Third, diversify your platform strategy. Don't rely 100% on one network's API. We have seen how unpredictable things can be with X. If you run automations or social media workflows, spread your effort across Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and others. Fourth, Fourth, watch for innovation opportunities. If X's API becomes more open and flexible, new niches will emerge. This could be a golden moment for indie developers or small SaaS teams to re-enter the X ecosystem. And fifth, stay informed. The new pricing structure and terms could evolve quickly. Follow X developers on X, read their blog updates, and if you're using third-party tools, ask them how they plan to adapt. So here is my take. If X really follows through on this, it could be a turning point, a chance to rebuild what was lost between the platform and its developer community. A fair usage-based API model could mean more innovation, better tools, and maybe even a healthier ecosystem for marketers and creators. But it depends on transparency and execution. If the costs end up high or the access stays limited, it could be just another PR move. Either way, it's a space to watch closely. Alright, and that's all. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give it a like. And if you want more social media tech insights like this, hit subscribe. I'll be covering updates as soon as X releases the full pricing details. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!